years, Greg. Thanks for all you do.
Good morning. Welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. Really great to have you along this morning. So we're just getting underway. Thanks for being here. Very much appreciated.
Americans love a winner and will not tolerate a loser. Americans play to win all the time. I don't believe in the no-win scenario.
This is the Greg Belfrage.
Good morning. The marketplace of ideas is open. Welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. Really great to have you along this morning. Let's take a look at the big stories. We've got Kamala Harris becoming the first official Democratic nominee for president Monday evening. And this is the first time in American history that a woman of color now is leading a major party ticket. So the party did a virtual roll call, and 99% of the pledged and automatic delegates threw their support for Harris. And so she is now officially the Democrat nominee. And I think a lot of attention is turning to her choice of vice president. She will be naming, likely today, that she will be naming her vice presidential candidate. And it is boiled down to two: Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Those are apparently, it's down to those two is what is being reported this morning. So there are a lot of stories here involving Walz and, involving Shapiro, Josh Shapiro. So more on that in just a few moments, but it will be a big story throughout the day today. So also other big stories, we saw global stock markets really plummeting yesterday. And this was over concerns of the U.S. economy slowing down, weaker than expected U.S. jobs report on Friday. And so that I don't want to get too much into this. I think for those of us who don't follow the markets, but what we are seeing is, the question is the U.S. in a recession. I mean, that was fears of a recession. Is the U.S. in a recession? Very much dominated the news yesterday. And you saw that happening with global markets yesterday plummeting. So the U.S. accounts for nearly a quarter of global gross domestic product. And so that can have significant influence then. So the Dow Jones on the world markets. So the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 2.6%. The NASDAQ Composite and the S&P 500 declined by 3.4% and 3.0% respectively. The decline yesterday began with Japan's Nikkei 225 index fell over 12%. In fact, I shared that with you yesterday morning. So continuing to see the effects of that. Also, a federal judge yesterday ruled that Google violated antitrust laws by illegally holding a monopoly on online search and text advertising. So what that is going to mean remains to be seen, I think. So the ruling found that Google controls nearly 90% of the world's general search services market on desktop devices and 95% on mobile devices. You've got just an overwhelming number of people who are using Google search, and Google losing this antitrust case pretty big. So it's the biggest tech antitrust trial in over 2 decades. Why is my phone talking to me here? Do you hear my phone? It's my phone sitting over here. All right. Also, I mentioned the vice presidential race. And The Hill has got a story this morning. Vice presidential race turns ugly as Harris pick nears. And so progressives are upset with Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. Shapiro is Jewish. They're upset with Shapiro's positions then on Israel and is handling a pro-Palestinian protest. Also, Senator John Fetterman flagged some concerns about Shapiro to Harris's team. According to Politico, that story was trending yesterday, in fact. So the left wing of the Democrat Party increasingly pushing for Minnesota Governor Tim Walz to be the pick of for vice president rather than Josh Shapiro. So Senator Mark Kelly has been another top contender, but again, the understanding, I think, that many of us has down to two names at this point, and it's Josh Shapiro and Governor Walz of Minnesota. So we won't have to wait all that long. A decision is likely forthcoming today as to who she is going to choose. So also, Jewish Democrats on Capitol Hill are angry over these liberal attacks on Governor Shapiro, and they're saying he's being treated very unfairly. And there have been, now again, when we talk about the left generally and progressives, we're talking about the far left of the Democrat Party, and they're the ones who are upset in most cases. And so now you're finding people like Representative Jared Moskowitz of Florida said that he's a Democrat from Florida. He said Josh's position on Israel is almost identical to everybody else, but he's being held to a different standard. So you have to ask yourself why. And Moskowitz said that he believes the Democrat Party would never tolerate similar attacks if the potential candidate was black, gay, Latino. He said, in that case, we would call it out and it would be definite, he says. But Josh is being held to a double and triple standard in an effort to try and kill his chance at becoming the vice president. So this is one of the problems with the big tent of the Democrats. You've got the progressive left who are, don't want to see Josh Shapiro get the, get the nod, and angry. And one Democrat strategist said, this is probably the closest thing to a primary the Democrats get this cycle. That explains why this has gotten so high stakes. Many Democrats are looking at this as the last opportunity to impact the ticket and potentially the last opportunity to have an impact on the White House until 2028 or 2032. So you're seeing a lot of campaigning. Well, you think the question, some of us are asking is, man, are we seeing a lot of bigotry? Anti-Semitism. There's also a clip. This is from FoxNews.com this morning. This one of their big stories on their website this morning. It's a clip of the vice president back in 2017 calling for everybody to be woke. That's right. Everybody be woke. And this was at a Recode and their annual code conference. And she was speaking there, and she said, we have to stay woke. Like everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke, she said. That's right. That's America's vice president. She said, I get upset when we say we're going to, now again, keep in mind, this is from 2017. She said, I get upset when we say we're going to shut our door to refugees who are fleeing such atrocities and have been standing in line for 2 years to qualify for refugee status, and they arrive here and we turn them away. Yes, I'm going to get mad about that. I'm going to get mad when we have an attorney general who's trying to resuscitate the war on drugs, and he thinks the greatest evil that mankind has ever seen is marijuana. Leave grandma's medical marijuana alone. Oh, yeah, grandma. That's grandma's medical marijuana. Leave that alone. That was stupid and inane even in 2017. I mean, seriously, now it's even those comments about being woke. What is the general reaction from people throughout the country now about woke? Yeah, be more woke rather than less woke. Also, big story this morning, Senator Josh Hawley was on Jesse Waters' primetime last night, and with some new claims regarding the assassination attempt on Donald Trump last month. Hawley said he's spoken with whistleblowers who are providing him with more and more information. In this case, it's about the lead site agent of the U.S. Secret Service at the Butler, Pennsylvania rally. And he said the site agent, the lead agent, was known to the Trump campaign to be inexperienced, to be ineffectual, to be frankly incompetent at their job. I'm also told by whistleblowers that on that day, she was not enforcing the normal security protocols. She was not checking people's IDs. She did not use Secret Service agents. Most of the agents there that day were not Secret Service agents. They were Homeland Security agents. He said that some Secret Service agents are very unhappy with how the agency has responded then and is handling the shooting. He said whistleblowers are coming forward from the Secret Service because they can't believe what leadership is doing. They cannot believe that Secret Service is not taking action to clear out the rot. Yeah, it's a great way to put it. I'd like to take action to clear out the rot in the federal government, period. I mean, beyond Secret Service. Also now, and this is main story on this you're going to find is by Susan Crabtree at Real Clear Politics, that the Kimberly Cheadle, you remember the former head of the Secret Service who resigned, she and others in top agency leadership positions wanted to destroy the cocaine that was discovered in the White House last summer. But the Secret Service Forensic Services Division and the Uniform Division stood firm and rejected the push to dispose of the evidence. So they wanted to just dispose of it. That was the Secret Service under Kimberly Cheadle. That's what's being alleged now. They found that cocaine and can't we just, let's just do away with this. And you had people in the service who were like, absolutely not. We're not going to do this. No, we're not going to do it. Susan Crabtree writes, multiple heated confrontations and disagreements over how best to handle the cocaine ensued after a Secret Service Uniform Division officer found the bag on a quiet Sunday while President Biden and his family were at Camp David in Maryland. So at least one Uniform Division officer was initially assigned to investigate the incident, but after he told supervisors, including Cheadle and the acting Secret Service Director, Ron Rowe, he was deputy director now, remember, at that time. He told them that he wanted to follow a certain crime scene investigative protocol, and he was taken off the case, according to a source within the Secret Service. So this goes on. The spokesman for Secret Service tells so many lies. You know, he denies the Cheadle was. Of course he does, because that's what he always does. I mean, it's give me a break. Absolutely crazy. That's a big story this morning. Also, we've got, of course, the Olympics are underway. We had Simone Biles, who won the silver medal in a floor exercise. That was her 4th medal of the Paris Olympics, her 18th Olympic medal overall. Also, there's another story I wanted to share. This statewide story, the South Dakota, this was a decision by the South Dakota Supreme Court on Friday, and I should have picked it up sooner. A little bit slow on this, but I wanted to give you an update because the Supreme Court on Friday reversed the dismissal of a lawsuit to try to keep that abortion rights amendment off the ballot. And the South Dakota Supreme Court said that they sent it back to the circuit court judge here in Minnehaha County, who had dismissed it. And so now Life Defense Fund will have another chance to make their case in front of the judge. And they said that this was Judge John Pincus. He had questioned why the South Dakota Secretary of State's office wasn't named as a party in the lawsuit. And the Supreme Court's order of reversal said this court concluded that the circuit court erred in dismissing the matter based on its determination that Life Defense Fund should have brought the case. A lot of this legalese. And they're saying that was, he erred. That was a mistake. He shouldn't have done that. So the Life Defense Fund had asked for a different circuit court judge. The state Supreme Court did not honor that. It goes back to Circuit Court Judge John Peckus here in Minnehaha County. So the Supreme Court, denying a request for a different judge, also rejected a request to expedite the matter in circuit court because they were trying to get this, resolved prior to, obviously, the election. So Leslie Unruh, who is a co-chair of Life Defense Fund, she's a friend of this program, just to be very candid, been a very, very good friend to me personally. She said Rick Weiland, and is now again talking about the Cotons for Health, Rick Weiland. She said Rick Weiland and his paid posse of broken laws tricks out the Cotons into signing their abortion petition, left petitions unattended, and much more. The Cotons for Health illegally gathered signatures to get Amendment G on the ballot. Therefore, this measure should not be up for a vote this November. So that was Leslie Unruh. So it goes back then to the circuit court judge here in Minnehaha County. And that's been a big story over the last few days. Also this morning, I'm very interested. There's a new poll that's out. CBS and YouGov have released a poll of registered voters and on a number of different things. And 83% of people that they polled said they definitely will vote. 50% of them say Kamala Harris. 49% say Donald Trump. So it's a pretty even split. But there were some other things here that they were asking, beyond just the candidates. They start getting into it. There were some questions here that really caught my attention. Or do you think U.S. democracy and the rule of law will be safe? And then it's only if Kamala Harris wins, only if Donald Trump wins, will be safe if either wins, will not be safe either way. There's a very interesting question here. How do folks feel about, the economy? I continue to believe is a very big issue. If Kamala Harris wins, do you think her policies would make you financially better off or financially worse off or about the same? And they ask the same question about Donald Trump. That's really kind of intriguing. And we'll talk about that and get your reaction, because I'm always interested in what you're thinking and how you're seeing things and, how you're feeling about where things are going. And then among other big stories this morning, we've got at least 4 people who were killed after Hurricane Debbie, now back to Tropical Storm Debbie, made landfall. 4 people killed there. Also, we've got former Trump legal advisor Jenna Ellis, who's agreed to cooperate with Arizona prosecutors in the 2020 election interference case. All big stories this morning. Hey, it's great to have you along. 627. Also coming up this morning, we've got your tickets. Here they are for those of you watching on YouTube. There they are right there. We've got your tickets to see Styx and Foreigner. So keep listening for your chance to call in and win Styx, Foreigner, and John Waite coming to the Denny on Wednesday, August 28th. And your chances to win begin this morning. That's coming up today on the Greg Belfrage Show.
Amp and Robbins, weekdays at 2. Callow, News Talk 1320, 107.9.
The Fellow Hotline is brought to you by Tires. See in-store details about how to get rebates from major tire manufacturers. 2 Sioux Falls locations to serve you.
Come in today and get huge savings on all your favorite men's fashion.
Just checking my timing here.
Clearance. Up to 50% off on sport coats, suits, shirts, and more. Now at Halberson.
I have so much that I'm trying to get in. Seriously, because I want to share as much with you as I can, and then sometimes I even lose a little bit of track at time. I wind up with stuff that we don't even touch on. So
when the Canaries first came to town, the home opener, it was huge.
You can see that's a big stack of stuff. I'm trying to.
The radio station that was carrying the Canaries had one of their announcers, a new guy who just moved to town, lead the audience and take me out to the ball game. And I'll never forget that because that guy was me. I'm Jeff Gould, and that's my Canary story.
Make your Canaries memory this summer at the Birdcage. Tickets.sfcanaries.com.
Stop what you're doing and listen to this. Your God-given freedoms are up for the taking, and those doing the taking are the same people who've sworn to defend your freedom. They think they can control the media, hide the truth, and force their delusions onto your family. You know what they can't take away? Self-reliance, peace of mind. Got water filtration? You should. A charged solar generator? You better. Emergency food on your shelf? Get it now from My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply is the most trusted name in survival, and for damn good reason, too. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com right now and save $200 on their best-selling 3-month emergency food kit. It delivers over 2,000 calories per day, plus sealed inside practically unpierceable packaging. It lasts up to 25 years. Oh, and did I mention it's delicious? Go to MyPatriotSupply.com.
6:30, mostly cloudy and 60 at Calhoun. News headlines on the way. You're listening to the Greg Belfrage Show.
Chris Foster, after 5 days of online voting, Kamala Harris has almost unanimous support from Democratic National Convention delegates to be the party's presidential nominee. She announces her running mate today. The two favorites are said to be Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz.
Accomplishments aside, their electoral map value is important as well. In Shapiro's case, Pennsylvania is critical to the presidential path. While Minnesota seems to be solidly Democrat, Walz is popular in a pair of critical neighboring states, Michigan and Wisconsin. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
In South Carolina,
this is an animal that we don't think that we have seen before.
Governor Henry McMaster on the potentially historic rain in the forecast there, and in Georgia from Tropical Storm Debbie. America's listening to Fox News.
Kello News Time 6:31. I'm Joe Bowman in the Kello.com News Center. The latest numbers from what law enforcement is calling the Sturgis Rally Tally are in. Nearly 200 arrests have been made so far at the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. South Dakota Highway Patrol announced that there have been 50 DUI arrests and 52 felony drug arrests as of yesterday. In addition, there have been 22 reported crashes, 14 of which have caused injuries. No fatalities have been reported. The annual event runs through Sunday. It's popular, it comes in thousands of flavors, and it's loaded with toxic, addictive nicotine. The South Dakota Department of Health has just compiled its 2023 Youth Tobacco Survey. Sierra Phelps, head of the department's tobacco program, says nearly 16% of high school students have used a vaping product within the last 30 days. That's 5 times the number of students who have used regular tobacco products.
Many people think that vaping is healthier, which it's not. The use of tobacco products, including our e-cigarettes, is one of the most common causes of preventable death, disability.
Next hour, we'll examine some of the unexpected dangers of using vape products. The Olympic run for Sioux Falls native Taryn Cloth has come to an end. Cloth and her teammate Kristen Nuss lost to a Canadian team yesterday. Taryn says she's very disappointed at the loss, but also excited for the opportunity to compete in the Olympics. The pair finished 9th in their first ever Olympic appearance. And in Canaries baseball, some big plays yesterday. Jabari Henry smacked a 3-run homer for the second consecutive game, and Wyatt Ulrich tied the franchise stolen base record. But the Birds still came up short, losing to the Goldeyes 9-3 in Winnipeg. The Canaries fly back to the birdcage to take on the Lake Country Dockhounds tonight. From the Kello.com News Center, I'm Joe Bowman.
The news never stops. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
Look for a high today at 74. Skies becoming partly sunny, much cooler throughout the region. Northeast winds at 5 to 15. For tonight, low temperature 59. Tomorrow, we'll introduce about a 40% chance of scattered rain with a high in the middle 70s. That's the latest on your weather from the Storm Center at Kettleland TV. I'm meteorologist Brian Karstens.
You're hearing the news and views you just can't hear anywhere else. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9 and Kello.com.
When passengers believe that they've been mistreated by an airline, they often take to social media and post their story. Usually, the airline swings into damage control and reaches out. But travelers beware. Maybe that message of help is not customer service. I'm Kim Commando for T-Mobile. Their advanced network now goes farther than ever before. Visit T-Mobile.com/55 today. This summer, the bad guys are stalking social media for angry passengers. When you post your airline nightmare, they spring into action, posing as customer service agents to steal your booking confirmation numbers and credit cards. Sometimes they send distraught passengers to a spoofed website that looks almost identical to the airline's. There, they harvest personal information and steal the passenger's identity. Law enforcement, even the FBI, are completely overwhelmed by cybercrime. Once you fall for the scam, the chance of recovering your lost money is near zero. Your best defense, contact the airline directly. There's still time to enter to win a $1,000 gift card at winfromkim.com. Hey friends, Kim here. You know, it seems the older you get, the savvier you become at saving money. I really hate to overspend on things, especially the necessities. But thanks to T-Mobile, I don't have to worry about overpaying for wireless service, so I've got more time and money to spend on other things. At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a month per line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, Scam Shield Premium is included, which means fewer scam calls and more tools to help you optimize and organize your mobile life. Experience all this and more with T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network. Don't miss out. Get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for $30 a month per line at T-Mobile. Visit T-Mobile.com or your local store to make the switch and save.
With autopay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details. Capable device required for scan shooter. Turning on scan block might block calls you lost. Disable anytime.
The Kim Commando
Okay.
Show, live Saturday mornings at 9. Kello, News Talk 1320, 107.9.
The Kello Hotline is brought to you by Tires. Your give you more tire and automotive.
I sort through those trending stories and I try to put them in,
Window World offers free estimates on a full
rank them a little bit by importance in terms of stories that I know are big this morning. So I want to make sure. Sometimes I will run a little bit. I'll run out of time. So there are stories that are trending that are likely less important to you than other stories. So I try to sort those out in a way that makes sense.
One of our locations, downtown or at the bridges on 57th, with free parking at both.
Hey, word for my friends at Washington Crossing. You know, are you worried about your aging parents? Are they safe? Are they happy? Are they lonely? You know, it's not easy to watch your parents getting older. You want to make sure they have the best retirement possible. And that's why I've been recommending Washington Crossing Retirement Community for years. Because Washington Crossing feels like home for the people who live there. Washington Crossing offers maintenance-free living. What it means is mom and dad then can focus on enjoying their retirement and not on chores around the house or painting the house or, you know, and the best part is Washington Crossing is also a vibrant community. Folks that are friendly, countless activities. You won't have to worry because Washington Crossing also has a caring staff available, making sure that your parents are safe and comfortable. Washington Crossing Retirement Community, where your parents can live their retirement to the fullest and you can breathe easy. Discover peace of mind for your family at Washington Crossing. Give them a call today and take a tour. Go see it for yourself and meet the people there. They're a wonderful group of people. Give them a call today, 605-271-9273. That's 605-271-9273. And you can find a lot more information on their website, WashingtonCrossingRC.com. It's Washington Crossing Retirement Community, premier retirement living at a great value.
These days, the world changes in an instant.
You want to know what's happening in a hurry.
Get the latest breaking news on your smartphone.
With the free Kello AM app.
It's the way to find out right away. The app is free at Kello.com.
Kello, News Talk 1320.
638, mostly cloudy and 60. Good morning and welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. Oh boy, do we have chances for you to win today. We've got a number of them. We have got tickets to Styx and Foreigner. They are coming to the Denny. Styx, Foreigner, and John Waite coming to the Denny on Wednesday, August 28th. And we've got tickets. So coming up this morning, we will give you chances to win. Keep listening for your chance to win tickets to see Styx and Foreigner. So that'll be coming up a little bit later this morning. Right now, let's open up our phone lines and give you a chance to win a couple of evening passes to Wildwater West Water Park. So call us right now. Be caller number 7. At 605-336-1320, 605-336-1320. Caller number 7 will win 2 evening passes to Wildwater West Water Park, 1 ticket, unlimited slides and rides, 5 miles west of the Empire Mall. Call now, 605-336-1320.
What's trending now?
Add them on Facebook.
Let the tweeting begin. The hashtag does that. News and views from Belf's News Gallery.
So there are reports out that Kamala Harris will choose her VP pick today. It's down to Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. And Minnesota Governor, Mr. Walz. So that will be announced likely today. That she is. Sources say that Harris will announce her pick ahead of a rally in Philadelphia today. And so the timing of the announcement has not yet been finalized. So she will be doing that today. Also, the markets have been having a rough few days. The Japan's Nikkei 225 index rebounding now after the worst decline in history. So the Nikkei now on the rise, and which is got bank officials and reassuring investors. Also, the Dow plummeted 1,000 points, extending a global rout, and then worries now are growing about the U.S. economy slowdown in the U.S. economy. And many of us are like, duh, yeah. Also, this is an incredible story. And I've got to give credit to Susan Crabtree at Real Clear Politics. She's really driving this story. That the former director of Secret Service, Kimberly Cheadle, and others in top leadership positions in the Secret Service wanted to destroy the cocaine that was discovered at the White House last summer. That's what they wanted to do. But Secret Service Forensic Services Division and the Uniform Division wouldn't have any of it. They rejected then the calls to dispose of the evidence. This is according, says Crabtree, to 3 sources in the Secret Service. Multiple heated confrontations and disagreements over how best to handle the cocaine ensued after a Secret Service Uniform Division officer found the bag on a quiet Sunday while the president and his family were at Camp David in Maryland. And he was assigned to at least one Uniform Division officer initially assigned to investigate the incident. But after he told his supervisors, including Cheadle and the now acting Secret Service Director, Ron Rowe, he was deputy director at the time. So he said, okay, he wanted to follow a certain crime scene investigative protocol, and they took him off the case. And so now a spokesperson for Secret Service, no, that's not true. Yeah, we've been learning a lot of things that we were told previously were not true. So, forgive those who are a little bit skeptical, have a difficult time believing what Secret Service is peddling. That's a big story. Also trending this morning, U.S. judge has ruled that Google violated a federal antitrust law in an online search case. For those who use search on their phones, over 90% of people are using Google search on their mobile devices. Over 90%. Wow. That's just absolutely incredible. So this was a massive antitrust lawsuit. Google has lost it. And the judge said that Google's powerful position led to anti-competitive behavior, and it must be stopped. After having carefully considered and weighed the witness testimony and evidence, the court reaches the following conclusion. Google is monopolist, and it is acted as one to maintain its monopoly. So this big loss for Google yesterday. Also, House of Republicans have revealed that almost 100 illegal immigrants on the terror watch list were allowed to settle in the United States. It's just crazy. So you got dozens of illegal immigrants on the terrorist watch list released into the U.S., they're saying. And this is a report that was compiled by Republicans. And the report says that does not include the untold numbers of potential terrorists that evaded Border Patrol to enter the United States as part of nearly 2 million gotaways since the beginning of the Biden-Harris administration. Wow. Let's hear Kamala defend that one. Also, you remember the Donald Trump had been trying to appeal to the hospitality workers by talking about, tax-free tips. Despite that, they're endorsing Kamala Harris for president. So the Hospitality Workers Union has officially endorsed Kamala Harris for president. So Donald Trump had been trying to make a play then for, and saying, and I hope he proceeds with that anyway, should he win. I hope Donald Trump would proceed with that anyway. I think it's a great idea. Also, the Harris campaign has formed Republicans for Harris. This is a new group then trying to court anti-Trump Republicans. So Kamala Harris is trying to appeal to those people who may be Republican, but they hate Donald Trump. So Republicans for Harris. And I'm like, I don't doubt it. I mean, it's just so many bizarre, crazy things that are going on anymore. It's just, okay. I'm sure they'll be out there. Also, other stories that are trending. Israeli Defense Forces discovered a truck-sized tunnel at the Gaza-Egypt border. So this is a tunnel large enough for cars, according to the Times of Israel and Fox News and other sources as well. So large enough for vehicles to drive through. Absolutely incredible. Also, 2 rockets yesterday were fired at Iraq, an air base in Iraq, which hosts U.S. and other international forces in Western Iraq. This is according to security forces. So it wasn't clear if the attack caused any casualties or damage inside the base. One security source said the rockets fell inside the base. Also trending this morning, Simone Biles failed to medal after falling off the beam and finishing second in the floor routine event. So Simone Biles getting Olympic silver in the floor after falling during the final on the balance beam, which definitely disappointing, but she wins the silver to wrap what might be her final Olympic Games. And what an incredible Olympic Games they have been for Simone Biles. Just absolutely incredible. Also trending this morning, the UN has fired 9 staffers. Get a load of this. This is the United Nations. 9 employees, after an investigation finds they may have been involved in the Hamas October 7 attacks. So the Hamas attacks against Israel. You've got 9 employees at the United Nations who may have been involved. That should be a huge story. And, now keep that in mind. Should Republicans ever win power again? Sometimes I'm doubtful. But if Republicans ever win power, and we talk about the United Nations and what the United Nations is all about, 9 employees at the United Nations who were part of the, who may have been involved in the October 7 attacks against Israel. And they're working at the United Nations. Anybody else see something seriously wrong with that? What is going on at the UN? I think that's been a question for a long time. I don't like the UN. I'm not a big UN supporter. Also, the Prime Minister of Great Britain, Keir Starmer, saying he's talking about they've got a standing army of police on alert over in the UK to tackle some of these UK riots because they've been getting more and more out of hand, these riots in the UK. And so Keir Starmer calling for criminals involved in riots to be identified as soon as possible and being, he said, also, he was warning those who were whipping up hate online. He said they will be equally punished. So he's announced plans for a standing army of specialist officers to respond to violent disorder across the country. And he issued a severe warning to those involved. And he told those who are committing crimes online that arrests, charging, and prosecutions would also apply to them. He said, first is we will have a standing army of specialist officers, duty officers, so that we'll have enough officers to deal with this where we need them. The second will ramp up criminal justice. There have already been hundreds of arrests. Some have appeared in courts this morning. He said, I've asked for early consideration of the earliest naming and identification of those involved in the process who will feel the full force of the law. So you've got the Prime Minister in getting very serious in responding to some of the violence that we have been seeing in the UK. Also, U.S. personnel were injured in a rocket attack on this. I should have shared this with you earlier. I have the story about the American troops being injured during an attack on an airbase in Iraq. So I'm trying to see how many Americans. So some were injured, at least one of the, or excuse me, they're saying at least one of these rockets that were fired at forces fell inside the airbase. So no specific word on how many soldiers may have been harmed. Also, second gentleman's first wife speaks out. This is the second gentleman is Kamala Harris's husband, okay? So the husband of Kamala Harris, his ex-wife, speaking out after he admits to having an affair with a nanny that led to pregnancy and ended their marriage. And so he now is acknowledging the affair that contributed to the breakup of his first marriage. And that story is trending this morning. Also, I'm going to have more on this for you a little bit later in the program this morning. Donald Trump was gifted a Cybertruck. So these were gifts to Donald Trump. It was not Donald Trump giving these, but receiving these. But Donald Trump was gifted a Cybertruck and a Rolex following an interview with Aiden Ross. Aiden Ross is a streamer. In fact, Trump appeared on the Aiden Ross live stream And I caught some portions of that, and the two of them. So Ross presents this vehicle to Trump, and it's wrapped with Trump with his fist in the air, following the attacks. And then they dance together. They're doing that. You see Trump do that dance at his rallies. So the two of them are dancing together. It's pretty wild. Also trending this morning, Bloomberg News has fired a reporter, Jennifer Jacobs, after a premature publication of a hostage swap story, and Bloomberg apologizing for the story that they had released prematurely. Should not have done that, is what they're saying, and they fired this is involving the release of Ivan Gershkovich and others. That should not have been released by Bloomberg, and they're recognizing that and fired the person responsible. Got a number of people in the Biden administration who are stepping down now and joining the Harris campaign. I would share names, but it's like the president's top economic advisor, Gene Sperling, is one of them. There are some others. So they're leaving now the administration and joining the campaign of Kamala Harris. And those are the stories trending this morning in Belf's News Gallery. And congratulations to Greg, who won those passes to Wildwater West earlier this hour. So thanks so much for listening, Greg, and I hope you and your family have a great time. More chances for you to win coming up this morning on the Greg Belfrage Show.
Place to go when you need to know.
I want to thank you so much for letting me join you this morning, my friend. I hope you will come back to YouTube at 9:30 for the fourth hour that we do exclusively on YouTube. So I hope that you'll be here for that. And that's a little more relaxed than this. I'm concentrating, obviously, more on the radio show and making sure that, but thanks for being here. Do appreciate it. If you'll hit that like button, I appreciate it even more. Take care. So long until next time, my friend, and may God bless.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here with urgent news. The world